Sweet. Kia ora everybody. Just sitting back tonight once again. It's a Friday night here in the winterless north. Silly name for up here, but it's not exactly winterless. But yeah, welcome to the channel. I'm a gamer, an artist, that sort of thing, and just like pretty much everybody else. But tonight, probably just going to do a short bit of this, and then I'm going to head over and maybe hang out with some friends or play some 7 Days to Die. Because I'm building a house at the moment that looks pretty wicked. Well, it doesn't look pretty wicked, it's just the basics. Anyway. I just thought I might draw away while I'm doing it. Hey, welcome. Hey, you'll be able to read that. I actually wrote that in reverse. Not directed at you particularly. Where's a nice page to scribble on? Oh, it's been so long. So yeah, I was, like I said, going to play some 7 Days to Die. If you've ever played that one, let me know in the comments. Otherwise you can email me at Vypran-Hellgod. Those first initials are capitalized at gmail.com. So you can send me a longer message in there, and I'll read it out and reply to you, especially if you've got something in mind. I want some music, please. No, not that. That's not music. This is music. I'm just using that as my music tonight because I don't think I could get in as much trouble for that as I could just playing normal music. And I wanted something in the background that I don't have to worry about. And there's either that or GTA 5 I can play on the old PS3. You know, I usually can't draw or relax without a bit of music myself. Now what I was going to draw was come up with, I could either come up with a base for the next design, but I've done 100 of them, so I don't think I'll bother. There was something. I know what I'll draw. I had a dream the other night. Hey, thanks Skyheart. And yeah, thank you. And anytime. I saw that Bloodborne that you posted the other night. Yesterday, sorry. That looked pretty cool. Yeah. You know, the gameplay is wicked, and like I said, fast-paced action games. Anything where you swing a sword is sort of my sort of forte. Because yeah, that's what I could do. I could copy something, but not really a copier anymore. It's been a good 32 years since I've been a tracer. I had to get out of doing that. But yeah, I had this dream the other night. You're welcome. I had this dream. I was in a spaceship where I was traveling across the galaxy with a bunch of very like-minded individuals. It was quite interesting to hear what they were talking about. They were all like scientists and creatives and what else would you call it? Intellectuals, philosophers, a good cross-section of people. There was physical trainers, there was spiritual advisors, there was all sorts of people on the spaceship that were all traveling through space from Earth to a new place. We were going to be setting up a civilization on this new planet. About 3/4 of the way there, what happened was something blew out the windshield on the spaceship. Like it was. I didn't actually see it happen. I was way at the back of the ship, and the ship was like, it was like a house. Like there was bedrooms, all just personalized to each person that was in this, on this quest across the galaxy. And yeah, it was out of it. So once the windshield blew out, we had to land pretty much immediately so that we could fix it. They're all strange. They're all strange with mine. There's not been a normal dream. Well, I wouldn't know what a normal dream is because my imagination isn't very mundane. But yeah, we've landed on this planet, set up like this force field, a shield around the ship, because it didn't have, well, it did have breathable oxygen and all that stuff. What we were more worried about or concerned about was that it was an uncharted planet, so we didn't know what was going to be there, and we wanted at least a forewarning of something coming in. But anyway, yeah, we started fixing the windshield, and then I was outside talking to a few people, and we were just examining some of the flora and fauna in the area that we'd landed. And then like 3 or 4 ships came through the shield, and you know, once they hit the shield they decloaked, so they were invisible. And they decloaked and basically beamed down in front of us, and they were very alien looking, probably very similar to, in the movie The Fifth Element, they had those sort of pig-faced, kind of ugly, strong-looking aliens that had attacked the protagonist on that spaceship, and they had the massive firefight, so they sort of looked like that. But they attacked us and killed a couple of people. Actually, it was quite surprising, because up until then it had been quite a happy dream. It had been it was a good dream. And then that happened, and the sort of shit hit the fan, and I had to sort of negotiate with these guys to see what the hell they wanted, because we couldn't understand what they were saying. So I had to act as interpreter, and we were sort of playing charades to work out what was happening. Which was funny. It was funny trying to work that shit out with people that just had no clue. But at the end of the conversation that I had with these aliens, they had explained to us that another set of another alien culture that we had met with were not opposed to them, but they were sort of opposition to them, and we had chosen to not side with them, but to visit their planet first, and they were upset about it, and they'd basically just come to to ask us to come to their planet first, which was a pretty strange request, especially after killing a couple of people. Mind you, it was the 2 people that got killed were the ones that drew their weapons and tried to attack, and I was trying to stop them, but it was too late. They'd already done that. So I could probably draw the inside of the cockpit, which was massive. It was about half the size of a basketball stadium. Yeah, quite easily half the size, and an odd shape. So I'll draw that to start off with. It's going to be so hard to see on this screen, but I might be able to darken it up with some ink here. Strange things, the windshield was made out of panels, but once you'd put them all together, it was a special sort of it was like as hard as a metal but transparent, and it was self-healing, so you'd put the 2 panels together and they just gel. So that was out of the gate. Out the fucking gate. hardest thing to actually remember was seeing the ship from the outside, because I didn't actually see it from the outside in the dream. I had a fair idea of what it looked like, but yeah. It's a very Star Trek-y sort of thing. Star Trek-y sort of spaceship. So I did watch that Star Trek Discovery recently, as in when the last season came out. I watched it as soon as it came out and finished it in a couple of days. So it possibly has a lot to do with that, because most dreams in particular have connections back to your waking life. You know, they'll take bits and pieces from everything you've experienced or watched or done, thought about, and then condense it into one dream. Those sorts of dreams, I call them like download dreams, where you're just basically downloading stuff from your conscious mind into your subconscious. And because your subconscious mind understands things in terms of symbolism, feeling, emotion, and intuition, it's like, yeah, that's one type of dream. All up, there'd be over 9 basic types of dreams that I'm aware of. How did that go? It was sort of semicircular, ergonomically designed. Yeah, there was like stations that people worked at. And I was aware that there was no real captain on the ship. It was more like it was a community based idea. Everybody sort of decided or put in their ideas as to what was going to happen on this spaceship, which sounded like a pretty cool idea. You know, like how democracy would work. Demonologist and paranormal researcher, but I don't publicate my studies. Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist. I've watched a movie called Zeitgeist, yes. Might not be the same one you're talking about, because I know Zeitgeist means quite a few things. But yeah, the movie I watched about Zeitgeist was a mind blower. It's probably 10 years old by now. But it was pretty cool. The Zeitgeist movie was about changing perspectives. Yeah, be mindful of the content you broadcast at all times. Thank you. Okay. Oh, sweet. Oh, I can read the stuff there too. But yeah, I've done a little study into it. The society where it showed a utopian government idea. Ah, yes, as in Jock. Yes, that is the one I'm talking about as well. So I believe we're talking about the same idea there with Zeitgeist. Because it started off with showing the current issues with society and the financial sector, the governmental sector, the corporations, all this sort of stuff. And then it went on to say how we could work together to create a better, more functional society that relied on cooperation rather than competition. Because it seems to me that competition brings division, it brings judgment, it brings things like you know, you have to band together into groups to be part of that sort of thing. It's a bit, there's so many negative sides to competition, but that's like with everything. There's always a negative side to everything, but it just depends how you what your perspective is and how far you're willing to go with your opinion on that. But yeah, it was very similar to a utopian society upon this spaceship, as if it was set in the near future, 50 to 60 years. In the dream I was aware that I was about the same age as I am now, maybe only 10 years older if anything. So what was over there? Yeah, strange. Oh man, I wish that thing would stay on like it did. You know, it used to stay on, the second screen thing. It's so much easier to not have to look at it. All I know is the second screen, once that goes off, it's like that thing goes off. Oh, and I've got to touch buttons over here. It would just be nice to be able to set it up so that it'll just do it. But I have to keep wiggling stuff and doing stuff. Actually don't like that song. Yeah, anyway. I'll keep drawing away here. Now it's really just starting to use my imagination now, because I couldn't actually, the part of it was beyond my my scope of my range of vision. But it was well framed up. Let's see here. It's like a path up the center, but it wasn't straight, it was like curved. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I myself haven't studied that far into demonology. I have studied things like symbolism, quite a few different types of magic and shamanism. You know, not illusory magic, but your classical type magic. So druidism, Wiccan craft. What else? I did, you know, I got into a part where I was reading a lot about black magic, but the idea behind that was that I needed to know the darker side of it in order to understand the light. You can't have a lack of contrast. So I didn't want to be a dark magician or in particular a light magician, if there is such a thing. But yeah, basically the understanding I gained from it is that living in itself is a form of magic. You know, the things we do every day is a form of magic. So just applying it to a real way of life, in which I can get back what I put out. So I wound up just only doing sort of good magic that would be beneficial either to myself or to others, rather than dark magic that more affected others at the cost of your own, at some sort of personal or spiritual cost. Used to be a sorceress, dark magic when I was 16. Yeah, that's yeah. I hope that was fun. I never actually practiced it. Practiced dark magic. I merely read about it and studied up on what I could. Just because I sensed that it would only bring me bad karma. You know, it would only bring me bad stuff back, which is, I didn't want that. You know, but by that time I would have been 21 when I was studying the dark magics, when already the reason I had gotten into magic is because it was basically the only thing that could explain the things that I was going through as a child, which were in effect paranormal experiences that today are a lot more acceptable, but back in those days they were not. And then long before that it was, you know, burn you at the stake, that sort of thing. But yeah, I really found a lot of answers in there, because it's all, if it's not metaphorical, it's intuitive and just working your intuition as if it was a muscle. So yeah, and the better you get at it, the more you can, well, you know, control and manipulate time, your own self within this time and space. Because there's that real magic where if it was, you know, right over the top, you could perform great acts of moving stuff with your mind and just, yeah, just anything magical or supernatural. That was where I wanted to get to, even though I'd already sort of done that stuff as a child and not known how I'd done it. And I wanted to understand how I did it. Then as soon as I did, it's like those abilities get blocked pretty early in life. I think mainly a great deal of magic, at least, comes from a coupling of your intentions, your intentions and how you feel, and then what you focus upon. So if you can build those three up to a point where they're balanced and also in alignment with what you're willing to, what you're trying to learn in this lifetime, then it will magically become reality. Like the small forms of magic for me have been just being able to get a car park in the spot I want. So like I'll be driving uptown and I know it's a busy day. My partner's in the seat next to me saying I won't be able to get a park, but I'll ignore that and I'll just think and focus on, okay, when I turn this corner, there is going to be a park for me in a spot that's just right, and I'll pull in there and I'll park. And then of course I turn the corner and there's my park, you know. And if it's not there, just as I'm about to, you know, lose faith about it, somebody will pull out of a park and I'll be able to drop in there. So that it's a kind of magic, really. That's how I felt about it, because every time it would work, every time. And it's just ridiculous that it's such a small thing, but you know, for my partner driving around in town, she goes into a street thinking there's not going to be a park, and then lo and behold, there are no parks anywhere, and we're driving around for 15 minutes looking for a park. I see 10 or 15. I can't point them out to her though, because that would be a bad idea. Anyway, no, just a difference in the way we intend to see what's going on. And whatever's going on is a lot different in my head to what's going on in hers. But that's different with everybody. Everybody has different understanding of the world. There's lots of things she does magically that I can't do. You know, I can sit here and talk in front of a camera, and she'd hate to, you know, that's why she's never on here. She just doesn't like being in front of the camera or being a focus of attention and stuff like that. Well, that's no good. You know, they're not that great unless you believe the flip side of the Christian religion. Because, you know, reading through religious texts, and I having read most of the major ones, especially in Christianity, it seems like the bad guy is God and the good guys are all the demons. You know, they all got kicked out for doing something and came down here. You know, it's But yeah, it could be that you have a different understanding of demons to me. You know, I know it's possible to invoke them and summon them, yet that's always at a cost. Always. Everybody I know that has done that has had really bad stuff happen to them. very soon after. Um, but you know, it's part of the learning curve. If you're here to learn about that, then that's your mission. Yes, that's what they said in the Bible, didn't they? All the archangels. Lucifer, of course, was the first. But you know, there's like a good example of Luciferian symbolism and satanic rituals is Zoolander 2. In that movie, towards the end, they got together all these major fashion designers and then had them perform a satanic ritual of child sacrifice. You know, that was what they were getting ready to do. And the one person who wasn't there, I think it was Alexandra Versace, I think she wasn't there. And instead they put Kirsten Wiig in a satirical version of Versace and just made fun of her the whole movie. Oh, it's out the fucking gate, like right there in the middle. Like, and Zoolander 2 has the most cameos of famous people in it, out of all the movies ever. Like I've seen maybe, must be about, shit, it's a hard guess, 4,200, maybe 4,300 movies, and out of all of them, Zoolander 2 had the most cameos in it of famous people, like, you know, Justin Bieber getting killed. It's all part of it. Yo, what's up, Brad? Yeah, bro, might as well. I will come around for a beer, brother. Okay, I'll get my shit together. No, I didn't hear that. Yep. Okay, sweet. He should be. Yeah, he's really scared, eh? Okay, cheers, Brad. Okay, laters, bro. Sweet, and like I said, this is going to be one of those nights where I'm just going to be doing anything. Thanks for the great talk, and we'll have to continue this conversation. Probably might be best if you add me. Use the Playroom and get second screen for your phone. You'll need second screen on an Android device. Maybe you can do it with iPhone, I don't know, I don't have an iPhone. So yeah, you use the Playroom. I've downloaded the AR Studio for this. It's a free app. And then the secondary app. Yeah, well, you're welcome to. Please add my PSN. It's the same as my YouTube, and I will be able to connect with you at a later date, and we can continue this interesting talk. But I've got to go. My buddies are going to be waiting for me in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I am nowhere near ready. But oh, sweet. Okay, well, I'll keep an eye out for it, or I can add you right about now, Funk Soul Brother. Thanks for the chat, and you have a great night, eh? And yeah, get those apps.